The sun was setting over the arid plains of New Mexico, painting the sky in shades of crimson and gold. In the distance, a rugged terrain of jagged cliffs and winding canyons stretched out, eerily quiet. But that silence was about to shatter. Delta Force, the elite counterterrorism unit, had been deployed for an operation unlike any they'd ever encountered. They weren't up against terrorists or insurgents this time. Their mission was far more unexpected: to extract a high-value targeted defector with sensitive military intelligence who had taken refuge deep within Comanche territory. The catch? The Comanche weren't just any indigenous people. They were an ancient and formidable force with a legendary warrior culture that had never been tamed. They had no intention of letting the Americans take their prey. As the Delta operators, clad in tactical black gear, moved through the rugged terrain, their leader, Colonel Ryan Hawk Mitchell, scanned the horizon. "Stay sharp," he ordered, his voice low but commanding over the comms. "This isn't just a mission, it's a war." Unknown to them, the Comanche had been watching, waiting. For weeks, they'd tracked the movements of foreign soldiers on their land, and they had no intention of letting the invaders pass without a fight. Led by the fierce and unyielding Chief Kaya, a direct descendant of the great Comanche warlords, the warriors were ready. The Comanche had always known the land every cliff, every valley, every shadowland. They would use it to their advantage. The Delta Force team had reached the outskirts of Red Canyon, where their target, a former high-ranking officer now turned defector, was believed to be holed up. They had no idea they were walking straight into a trap. Suddenly, the ground seemed to shift beneath their feet. A piercing war cry split the air. From the surrounding ridges, a blur of movement, dozens of Comanche riders descended upon the team like a storm. Each warrior a ghost on horseback. They moved with a speed and precision that left no room for escape. "Contact front!" yelled Sergeant Alex. Blaze Hunter, the team's sniper, as he took cover behind a boulder. His eyes locked onto a rider and agile warrior armed with a long lance closing in fast. He fired in a fluid motion, taking down the threat with a single shot. But the battle had just begun. As the Delta team spread out, returning fire with their assault rifles, the Comanche hit with brutal force. They darted in and out of the canyon, using the natural terrain to their advantage. A Delta soldier was down, pinned by a hail of arrows from the warriors who were perched above on the cliffs, their bows drawn with deadly precision. Colonel Mitchell barked orders through the chaos. "Move! Get to higher ground!" But even as they climbed, they couldn't shake the feeling of being surrounded. The Comanche were everywhere, striking with unmatched agility, and they knew this land like the back of their hands. Blaze, always calm under fire, aimed at the cliffs where the archers were hiding. One by one, they dropped, but more seemed to take their place. The Delta Force team was trapped, outnumbered and outgunned by a force that seemed to be everywhere at once. And in the midst of it all, the ghostly figure of Chief Kaya appeared, his war paint glowing in the dying light of the day. "You cannot win here!" Kaya's voice echoed through the canyon, carried by the wind. "This land is ours." Mitchell's eyes narrowed. This was no ordinary battle. It was a test of skill, strategy, and willpower. The Delta Force was trained for any situation, but the Comanche were born for this. The fight wasn't just about fire parade, it was about survival. It was about the spirit of warriors willing to die for their land, their culture, and their people. The battle raged on. Explosions rocked the canyon as the Delta team used grenades and smoke screens to try and disorient their attackers. But the Comanche, like shadows in the night, adapted quickly. A group of riders circled Mitchell, attempting to close in for the kill. But with precise timing, Delta's tactical assault team launched a counterattack, their explosives sending rocks tumbling down the canyon and forcing the Comanche to retreat momentarily. In that brief respite, the team gathered their strength. But as night fell, the battle escalated to a terrifying new level. The Comanche had a final weapon, something Delta hadn't expected. From the shadows emerged a group of warriors on foot, their presence signaled by the rhythmic pounding of war drums. They were the feared shadow warriors, silent, stealthy, and equipped with knives that could kill in a heartbeat. Mitchell knew they had to act fast. "Get to the target, now!" he ordered. The team moved with ruthless efficiency, each soldier covering the other. Through the chaos, they reached the defectors' location, a narrow cave, hidden deep within the canyon walls. But just as they secured the target, Chief Kaya made his move. With a battle cry that echoed off the canyon walls, Kaya led a final charge, an assault that would break even the toughest of soldiers. But the Delta Force, hardened by years of combat, was ready. They fought with a ferocity equal to their attackers, pushing forward with precision and speed. The fight continued for hours, the battle switching from desperate defense to fierce offense. But in the end, it wasn't the strength of numbers or the power of weapons that won the day. It was the unyielding will of the Delta Force soldiers who, against all odds, pushed through the night, overcoming the brutal tactics of the Comanche. As dawn's first light began to break over the horizon, the battlefield lay quiet. The Comanche had retreated, their warriors lost or scattered. The Delta Force had succeeded in their mission, but the cost had been high. The Comanche, though defeated, had proven that they were a force to be reckoned with, willing to defend their land and culture at any cost. Colonel Mitchell stood at the edge of the canyon, looking out over the plains. "This is their home," he said, his voice low. "We just happened to be in the way." As the team made their way back to their extraction point, they couldn't shake the feeling that the battle at Red Canyon was more than just a clash of warriors. It was a reminder that some forces, whether from the past or present, could never truly be conquered. And that, in the end, the spirit of a people, their land, and their history would always fight back.